What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chiefs Chat. Today we're going to be talking about the Chiefs' upcoming game against the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. Primetime should be a fun, easy win for the Chiefs in front of a national audience. But I'm also here to talk about something that I am personally very passionate about. It's something that I think all Chiefs fans should be advocating for. And that is Mecole Hardman. I believe that the Chiefs should trade for Mecole Hardman. You guys remember, Mecole Hardman was our draft pick right out of Georgia. He's been on the team for, I believe, the past 3 or 4 seasons. And this past offseason, he took a job with the New York Jets. And since joining that squad, he has done quite literally nothing. I mean, you look at the stats, he's done, quite frankly, nothing. I mean, he's taken a few snaps here and there. But the amount of impact that he's had on that offense, it's been little to none. And I think the Chiefs should go out and bring him back into this offensive system. This is something I'm extremely passionate about. Mecole Hardman, I think he brought a nice, just nice level of athleticism, a nice level of speed to this offense, especially after we lost Tyreek Hill. He was big. He was key for us, especially on third down situations. You know, it was easy to give him a quick jet sweep, get a couple of yards, get that first down. In addition to that, I mean, he just had a big play written all over him. I mean, you give him the ball in a jet sweep, he might take it 20 yards. It could happen. But he's at least going to guarantee you that third and short. I just think Mecole Hardman, I love him, okay? And the price that we're going to have to pay to bring this guy on the team, it's going to be, you know, nothing. Maybe a 7th round pick, you know, maybe a 6th. I doubt even that. You know, throw him a 7th round pick and let's bring back our guy. You know what? I think we need him. You know, I know that we've got a lot of receivers on this squad. You know, we've got Marquez Valdes-Scantling, we've got Kadarius Toney, we've got Sky Moore. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've got a lot of good receivers on this team. But need I remind everybody what happened in week 1 of the 2023 NFL season? The very first game of the entire season, the Chiefs played the Detroit Lions, and our guy Travis Kelce was not in the game. And look what happened, okay? Look what happened in that game. Kadarius Toney, okay? We've been over it. Awful game. And nobody else really stepped up, man. Nobody else on our offense in terms of receivers stepped up to make a contribution. And I need Mecole back on this team for that reason and that reason alone. He's a guy who's been in this offense for 3-4 seasons, as I said. He knows the offense, and he is a valuable weapon on this team. You know, I think having a guy with experience, having a guy that we can rely on in those big situations is key. Because we saw it in the playoffs last season. He did get hurt, but before he got hurt, he was key in that big playoff run. Unfortunately, he didn't play in the Super Bowl. But in the AFC Championship game, he had a couple of huge catches, as well as the divisional round against the Jaguars. He was a great player for this offense for the entirety of his career with the Chiefs. And now he is just rotting away on the New York Jets. I think we need to go acquire this man, Mecole Hardman. He needs to be on the team right now. You know, I just love him, man. I just love the way he played, man. And I just think, looking back at the group of receivers we had, you know, between the years of 2018 and like 2021, I mean, Sammy Watkins was a guy who I'm sure you guys remember, Tyreek Hill, of course. But then you've got like Demarcus Robinson, like Chris Conley was a guy, and then Mecole Hardman was a guy, man. I just kind of miss that group of receivers, you know? And I think bringing someone back who's won 2 Super Bowls with us, he's got 2 Super Bowls on his resume with Chiefs. Actually, could be wrong about that. It might just only be 1, but either way, he's been on the team for quite a while. He's been in that group of core receivers, you know, at least in terms of the Patrick Mahomes era of the Chiefs. I think having even just one of those guys back on this squad is a huge help to us. Because if you look at our, you know, you look at our group of receivers right now, you know, there are some guys who we can look at and be like, man, these guys, they've got bright futures with this team. But when we're looking at our experienced players, I just feel like we haven't really been able to rely on them as much as I would have hoped. I mean, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is having a little bit of an underwhelming season. And I'm not saying he has the potential to pick up and do better. But I think having just one more of those experienced guys is going to help a lot. A whole lot, man. And like I said, there are some good young pieces who are coming up in the ranks. I mean, Justin Ross is one of those guys. I'm sure he's going to get more playing time. Rashee Rice has been pretty solid And of course, Justin Watson has been really good for our offense. But again, man, I just think we need a guy who can come in. He's got experience in this offense. And on this Chiefs team, I mean, he would be the guy in our wide receiver room who would have the most experience out of any Chiefs wide receiver in terms of playing with Patrick Mahomes and being in this offense. He would be the most experienced guy, which is crazy to say because he's a pretty young player. But he would have that key experience. I mean, let me know how you guys feel about this. I just think Mecole Hardman is a guy who we really need, a guy who is not being used on the New York Jets, and a guy who we could acquire for a 7th round pick. I mean, that's a small price to pay for a guy who can really make some key big plays in some big moments for the Chiefs. You know, I'm certainly an advocate for this move, especially after losing Richie James. He hasn't played for the past few weeks, unfortunately dealing with an injury. And Mecole Hardman's a guy, he can come in, he can return punts, he can return kicks. He's got that, value to him. A good return specialist there. And I'm just shocked that the Jets aren't even using him, And honestly, I can't say I'm surprised because they picked him up before they went and got Aaron Rodgers, and then Aaron Rodgers is on the team and he says, I want Allen Lazard, I want Randall Cobb, I want everybody. It's not going to work when you've got all those receivers coming in. It's probably hard for a guy like Mecole to really find his spot in that offense. But he's got a spot here. I mean, he's got a spot in Chiefs Kingdom. I mean, come on. We need him on the team. But yeah, other than that, man, I'm excited about this game against the Broncos. On paper, it should be a good one. Should be a big, dominant win for the Chiefs. The Broncos have struggled mightily, particularly on defense. They've been really, really struggling to stop offenses. I mean, we all remember the Dolphins scoring 70 points on those guys. And then last week, the Jets scoring 31 points on them with Zach Wilson. They're not good. They're really not good. It's honestly surprising to me because they've got some pretty solid players. Justin Simmons is a great safety. Patrick Surtain is a great corner. They've got some guys. They've got some guys on that team, but unfortunately, they haven't been able to put it together as a unit. And I expect Patrick Mahomes to absolutely rip apart the Denver Broncos secondary. And I also expect Sean Payton and that Broncos offense to start making some gutsy calls, some gutsy plays, because they know that they're going to need to pull some type of magic in order to pull this game off. I mean, it's going to have to be crazy. I mean, they're going to have to go for it on 4th down almost every single drive. I mean, in order to even have a shot. Because field goals aren't going to cut it against this Chiefs offense, against this struggling Broncos defense. So I definitely expect them to try to pull some magic. Because a win for them against the Chiefs in a game where nobody expects them to win, I mean, that would be something else. But, I don't expect that to happen. And I don't think anybody does. And, I think because of that, Sean Payton, knowing that he's kind of an aggressive guy, I bet he's going to try to do something crazy. Wouldn't be surprised. So I would say, just defensively, we need to stay on our toes about that stuff. Got to shut that down. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, but, fake punts, those type of things happen. 4th and 1, they're going to go for it almost undoubtedly. I mean, we saw it against the Vikings. In the first quarter on a 4th and 5, the Vikings were going for it against the Chiefs. And then looking at the numbers here, I've noticed something that definitely can't be ignored. I mean, I think this stat alone just kind of goes to show that teams are really, maybe slightly threatened by the way the Chiefs play on offense, and they're really, really trying to make some crazy things happen in order to try and keep pace with this Chiefs offense. But, the stat that I look at here is the fact that 12 times has the Chiefs' opponent gone for it on 4th down compared to the Chiefs, who have gone for it 3 times. So that really means that our opponents are looking at this Chiefs offense and saying, man, we got to keep pace with these guys. We're going to start to make some risky decisions. And that's what we're seeing, man. So I definitely, for sure, expect to see that from the Broncos offense. And, should be a good game. Pretty excited about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.